Hi everyone, welcome to today's lesson. Today we're going to continue where we stopped in our professional development classroom. Last time, after defining what is lesson study, we came up with an advocacy from a scholar who stated that professional or procedures like lesson study could be an avenue for students to tackle some issues. Then we said, yes, any teacher who is involved in lesson study gain some pathways. Then we said the pathways are 7 in number. We took the two first one. First of all, we said that lesson study helps any teacher who involved in it to increase his knowledge of a subject matter. If you are teaching English, it increases your knowledge of the English language. If you are teaching mathematics, it increases your knowledge of mathematics, etc. That's what we said, because you're going to get feedbacks from other teachers who may have background knowledge more than you. So they may help you by giving you some feedback. Then we said the second that it may give you or we said it increases knowledge of instruction. If you as a teacher are involved in lesson study, you're going to understand instructions. That means you're going to understand how to assess your learners, how to manage your classroom, how to use the material at your possession. That's what we said last time. So today we're going to continue with the two next one. Then before that, we're going to take another definition. That's lesson study. So lesson study, it is a classroom based. That means it happens in a classroom situation. So it happens in the classroom. Lesson specific and collaborative model. It is specific and collaborative model that leads to teacher professional development. Then in turn improves the learner's learning. So if you are asked to define lesson study, you can say lesson study is a professional development. It is a kind of professional that is happening in a classroom, that is based in a classroom. It is specific and it is a collaborative model that leads to teacher professional. That means any teacher who is involved in it will learn, will grow professionally. Then by doing so, it leads to improve the teacher's learning. So the learners learning, it improves the way the learners are learning in the classroom. It is in this sense that it is in this sense that James Hubert, they released a book in 1999 called The Teaching Gap. In this book, they said the premise behind lesson study is, if you want to improve teaching, if you like teaching to be better, if you like to contribute to the teaching practice, you must be in a place, that means in a classroom situation. You must be in the classroom. You must apply it to a specific place. That means you must apply it in the classroom context. Lesson study does not work by sitting in your office telling people do this and that. The premise behind lesson study is to go into the classroom and adapt it to the classroom context. So you have to be in a classroom and apply it to the classroom context. So it should be in a classroom context. That's why lesson study is the fastest growing professional development that has been practiced in Japan and China for decades. It has been practiced in Japan and China for decades. So it was in the 90s that it was developed now, and it is the fastest growing one. It is growing across the globe. Everywhere lesson study is being applied to develop teaching and to improve learning. So today, as you saw the two definitions, as you saw the definition and the importance, today we're going to continue with the two the two pathways that come. First of all, in the previous lesson, we said that we're going to have knowledge of subject matter. We said that we're going to have knowledge of instruction. So today, we're going to see the third one, that is, it increases. Lesson study increases. Lesson study allows any teacher who is involved in lesson study will have the ability to observe students. If you are involved in lesson study, it is going to increase your ability to observe the learners. So if you are involved in lesson study, you're going to observe, because this is one of the most important points of lesson study. In lesson study, contrary to the previous or the traditional way of teaching, we look at how learning is happening, not teaching. The idea behind lesson study is to look at what is happening in the learner's learning, the way learners are learning, how they are learning, what is presenting to them. So if you are an observer, if you are a teacher who is involved in lesson study, you're going to observe the way the learners learning, the way the learners are learning. That's what your objective. So you look at how learning is happening. It is very important in lesson study. So you're going to look at how learning is happening in a classroom. So we said the third pathway that you're going to have by involving yourself, by becoming a member of lesson study of this growing professional development, is that you're going to understand. You're going to have the ability to observe your learners. During the teaching process, the outsiders, those who are not teaching, they are in the class but they are not, they are observing, they take notes. Sometimes they go around to see how learners are doing activities that are given to them. So it is important to know that while involving in lesson study, while involving yourself in lesson study, you have to know that you are going to gain, you are going to increase your ability to observe your learners. The fourth one is that lesson study gives a strong collegial to any teacher who is involved. So there is going to be stronger collegial networks. There is going to be a network between the teachers. We know the traditional way is that here is a teacher, he is giving the books, the class, and they say Here is the book, go and teach. So he is the authority of his class. He decides on what is happening, what is going to happen. He on the method, on the activities. But with lesson study, we're going to have a group. That's why, as you're going to see in the step in the lessons to come, there is what they call a protocol. They're going to have a protocol. That means everybody is going to agree. If there is improvement, it is not the teacher who is supposed to teach them. No, it is everybody. It is a team. We are going to have a protocol. You decide on what to look for, what are the expected answers to the questions you ask, and then after that you discuss what you discover. So we're going to talk about all this stuff later on. So it is going to give you a network. So you're going to have a network of teachers, so that those teachers, they are going to help you. You're going to discover your weaknesses. So if you are involved in lesson study, you're going to have a stronger collegial network. So the networks that you're going to have, it's going to be stronger. Instead of being alone teaching, there is no one who is going to give you feedbacks. With lesson studies, now here you are going to have feedbacks, and those feedbacks are going to help you to better understand your practice. So in today's lesson, the two pathways that we are going to talk about, or that we took, are, first of all, lesson study increases the ability to observe the learners. Second, it gives a teacher who is involved in a stronger collegial network. So we saw the four pathways that it is better to have them in mind. In order, before involving yourself in lesson study, you have to know that you have 7 importance that you're going to have. First of all, we said that lesson study helps you as a teacher to increase your subject matter knowledge. You're going to know your subject. What you're teaching, you're going to know it better. Second, it increases your knowledge of instruction. You're going to understand the instructions given to you. That means you're going to understand how to assess your students, how to manage your classroom. Then thirdly, we said that lesson study gives the ability to teachers who are involved in it to observe. They're going to observe the learners, how the students are learning. Then lastly, for today, we said that lesson study gives a stronger collegial network, so that you're going to have a network with your fellow teachers. They're going to give you feedbacks, and you will understand what is happening in teaching. So these are what we're going to take today. Thanks for watching. Please share, comment, like, suggest. Bye.